situation. And let's just be honest. When that game started off and he wet that net up twice, you know everybody was looking around like, uh-oh. He might pull this off. And unfortunately, it didn't, happen that way. But I really don't want to hear, anybody talking about he was pressured or anything like that. I'm not going to believe that. I refuse to believe that. I really just do believe KD wanted to give it a go. And unfortunately, it didn't play out the way that anybody anticipated it, playing out. And KD is a grown guy. He knew the risk that was going out there. And it happened, unfortunately. And you hate to see something like that. Everybody hates to see, something like that. And he was doing so well. Like I say, I think he had played the first 12 of the 14 minutes. And he had already had 11 points. And he was on pace to drop 40. And this thing could have changed, the entire series. But it didn't. So I give him all the props in the world, for going out there. Because I know myself, I would have probably tried to go out there and play if I could, because he didn't want to let his teammates down. That was it. He didn't want to let his teammates down, and it didn't take that much, convincing. So stop with the whole, they did this, they did that, they forced KD. They don't have to force. Why would they try and force him, knowing that he can opt out of his contract and leave? The last thing they want to try and do is tick off KD. So just think about that. Think about that. Why would that make any sense? If you can get him back, they would be, I honestly believe the Golden State Warriors they wouldn't have liked it or anything, but they would have said, you know what? If we lose this finals, but we get KD back next year and we sign him to a long-term deal, we're good with that. We are good with that. And we'll take our chances coming back again. So I don't think they tried to pressure him, into do anything. So now, with the injury, it begs the question of free agency. How is this going to affect free agency? How is this going to affect KD? What happens? Where they go from here? And pretty much, as far as free agency is still going to be based off of what happens with Kevin Durant first. Nothing will move. The needle will not move to another player or anything. Maybe Kawhi. I would say that would be probably the only thing. I kind of forgot, about this Kawhi thing. You gotta, forgive me on that, because I'm at the mindset that Kawhi's going to stay in Toronto. I don't think he's going to go anywhere, especially if they close this series out and they win the NBA Finals. Some people think I'm crazy about that, but that's just what I believe. I don't think he's going to go anywhere, and he's going to stay in Toronto. He's going to be happy. So I think that takes Kawhi off, and then once again, we're sitting here and we're waiting to find out what, Kevin Durant wants to do. Now, some of the options that Kevin Durant has available to him, which is not available to a lot of players because they are not at the magnitude that he's at, is that he's still got 1 year. We're talking about the Achilles injury. Everyone's talking about this is anywhere from 9 months to, plus to over a year before he gets back on the court. So he could just opt in, rehab the injury, and then hit free agency next year. And I think if he can show anything, because teams are already saying that they would still offer him a max deal right now, I think if he can show them anything, any type of progress, he could still hit free agency and he could still get a max deal. Now, with him opting in, because he wouldn't get the max deal where he's looking at $40 plus million, that possibly could help out the Golden State Warriors as far as them signing. And Clay is up, and then next year, Draymond is going to be up. So they got they got a little bit of leeway that they might could do, with that. But not only with, the Golden State Warriors and this whole free agency with KD, with the New York Knicks. A lot of people were talking about, and I was like, man, the Knicks, we rumored that, KD was on his way there. And, the whole Zion thing didn't happen. And now this with KD. KD still could opt out and still could go to the Knicks. I truly do believe the Knicks would still offer him a deal. And here's why I believe that they would still offer him a deal. The New York Knicks don't have a window right now. They are not in a situation where they're like, we have to do something this season, going into next season, because we only have a 2-year window. We only have a 1-year window or something like that. They don't have a window at all. So I think they would be willing, and the city of New York would definitely be willing to burn one more year, go and let KD rehab, and then they come back and they surround him with the pieces that they got. Now, they still could go get another player, and that will be the challenge for the New York Knicks management, is that can you get another player to come there and say, all right, I will wait on KD, because if you get 2 max players and KD is one of them, and then you got your 1 max player basically, playing by himself without another superstar, that's going to be pretty tough, especially if Kawhi stays in Toronto. And then you got to think Milwaukee is going to get better. You got to think Philadelphia will still be there at some point. Boston would be there, even though Kyrie has opted out of his contract. So it looks like he's going to be going somewhere else. And remember, he's rumored to go to Brooklyn. So if he goes there, maybe Brooklyn teams Kyrie up with someone, or him and D'Angelo Russell or anything like that. But you have to consider, Brooklyn. So they got their challenges. So they're going to have to try and convince another player, next year, we're just going to try to build off of what we got, and then KD's going to, be here, and then we're going to make some noise then. So that is going to be, the task for New York. Now, some of those other teams that's out there that they're saying that KD might give a shot, I truly believe that getting him, and I don't know who those teams are. Let me just say that. But getting KD is just going to give any team a sense of hope. Because I'm going to assume that whoever is, looking at him is not someone that was just in the running to be in the NBA playoffs, or in maybe they have been in the playoffs, but in the run to be in the NBA finals. So I think they'll give him a year. So KD and free agency, it won't be as bad. Definitely, it would have been more ideal with him healthy, but he's going to be able to go into free agency and still command what he probably want, on it. In the Wait a Minute show chat room, Mo Cheese was just talking about Kyrie just partnered with Roc Nation. Yep, that was just reported earlier today. So he is with Roc Nation. He parted ways with his longtime agent that he's been with. So this, that also feeds into the whole thing of Kyrie going to Brooklyn. Who owns Roc Nation? Jay-Z. Where is Jay-Z from? Brooklyn. Where does Kyrie father want him to play? BK. Who would love to have Kyrie there? Brooklyn, New York. So, yeah, it does make, sense with him partnering with Roc Nation, if that's going to be, his plan. Other thing Mo Cheese was saying in the chat room, he said that the Knicks are reportedly out of the AD sweepstakes, and the Lakers are looking for a third team to help get AD. Kyrie is definitely on his way to Brooklyn. So I don't know if the Knicks are out of the AD sweepstakes. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. It's good that you bring that up, Mo Cheese, is because that's one of the things that we have that we're going to talk about later on in the show with New York and Anthony Davis. So you don't want to miss that. You want to tune in and we'll get into that as well. Clutch Conversations also says in the Wait a Minute show chat room, said this has been the worst kept secret in the NBA with Kyrie going to Knicks or Nets. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think this was 2 years ago if you really want to go back, because when Kyrie was requesting the trade, I think New York and Brooklyn was on. It was New York, Brooklyn, San Antonio, and I forgot, it might have been one other team that was on his list that he wanted to go, because everyone knew Boston was not on that list. So yeah, this is the worst kept secret. So if he shows up and he plays for that team, no one's going to be surprised, about that. And good luck to him, and I hope everything, works out. So you listen to the Wait a Minute Show with your man, Jelani JB Bodie, and my man, Lopan. We are in the building, coming to you, giving you your sports fix on Wednesday night, hump night, getting you ready to handle your weekend. And so the next story is a little interesting, and it'll be interesting to get opinions on this, was Big Papi. David Ortiz was in the news. He was down in the Dominican Republic, which has been a little crazy, to say the least, down in the DR with what's been going on there. But David Ortiz, unfortunately, was shot, and now this information is coming out that this was orchestrated. They haven't said why. I guess they're still investigating and looking into what that was completely about. But they are talking about some of the information that they have gotten is that now, and I read this wrong, and I'm going to blame Lopan, on this. Indeed. Yeah, I'm going to blame you, Lopan, because Lopan told me, he was like, oh my gosh, $400,000 to take down Big Papi. Indeed. Yeah, you were right, but it wasn't 400,000 American dollars, Lopan. It was 400,000 pesos. There's a difference. Trust me, I know there's a difference in pesos and dollars. So what it really actually boiled down to, 400,000 pesos is basically like under $8,000. So there was two people that was involved in this. It might have been more. It seems like it was more. For some reason, somebody got it out for David Ortiz, and they were trying to cash in. He did get shot. He did get injured. He's wounded, but it was nothing life-threatening, which is a good good message, good note to find out. He actually is already back here in the United States. He's in Boston getting treated. He's had a second surgery, so they're saying that he should fully recover. He's took a few steps, so he is up and walking around, so that is a good sign. But down there, it is just begs the question, just what is going on in the past few months there? Why is someone after David Ortiz? Because normally, and if you're trying to make some money, and I'm not suggesting doing this at all, but normally the case is that someone is going to get kidnapped, and then they're asking for ransom money. So, David Ortiz, he has the money, and he had a pretty good career, and you normally don't do something to the money. So I'm just trying to figure out, is this something personal? Because it doesn't seem like it's something that business related, because you're trying to orchestrate a murder. And if you're trying to do something like that and you're trying to take a person out, that's why I'm thinking this is more personal than anything with this situation. You're not going to get whatever it is you want from that person if they're dead. So something, I don't know. I don't want to know until somebody else report it. I don't want to know and find out for myself. I'm waiting for somebody else to report it. But something has happened. And then there's a rumor out there that he had got in a fight with someone else, and maybe this was, a retaliation on it. That's just speculation. So I don't want to say that's facts. But the good thing is that he is okay. He's going to, heal. He's going to have a good recovery, and he'll be back on TV entertaining us and everything. But I'm sure the rest of the story will come out. So David Ortiz, real crazy stuff going on. And what's